So please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy here.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? You met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
But you're more in the category like Luther Richter, Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when it's
try
time,
this with you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
Just a sexy eye right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five, somebody rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are having a thriving Thursday. It is all good reasons. More reasons to get up in the morning every single day is a blessing, y'all. Isn't an absolute blessing to get up every single morning and kiss your loved ones and hug the people that you care about and do the things that you're passionate about. It is a blessing every single day to be above the ground. All right? So pat yourself on your back, because you made it through another day. Now you got to get through another one. Easy, right? You've been doing it for how many years now, y'all? How many years have you been above this dirt, getting through the day? Think about it. Just think about it. You can get through one or a couple or 1,000 more years of this BS sometimes that we call life. You know what I'm saying? So it is a blessing. Be happy. Today is a wonderful day. I hope you guys are all well. We got a lot to talk about today. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a smattering of different things. I know that we're going to be kind of going back to some stuff that we've talked about for the past couple days, because there has been some more developing stories and developing interviews and etc. So we will be talking about those things here very soon. You know what I'm saying? But then obviously there's some things that I didn't get to see yesterday that we're going to be checking out today, which are really funny. Not gonna lie. After checking out this Joe Biden green screen thing, I got to be honest. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. So we got to check that out. Obviously, QAnon, the QAnon Shaman, had quite a bit of issues in court recently. He really angered the judge for. I guess he lied. You know what I mean? He was caught in a lie, so we're going to be looking at that as well. And then obviously there is some bad news about another shooting involving a 1-year-old child by the name of Legend Smalls. So we will be looking into that as well. And then a bunch of other things that are going to be sprinkled throughout the show. Some other things in there as well, because there's just a lot to talk about. Like I said, there's not really huge, big hitting conversations going on today, like big stories going on, but there's going to be just a nice mixture of a whole bunch of stuff. So, sit back, kick up your feet, grab that cup of Joe or coffee, whatever you call this thing, and enjoy your day with me. Anyway, my brother David's in the house. He looks nice today. Look at that. Look at that. And even in more focus. Thank you, baby Jesus. Won't he do it?
Yeah.
There you go. How you doing, man? What the guan?
Pretty good. As you can tell, I got the lights set up, so this room's coming along a little bit better.
Yes.
Hopefully the image stays good like this, though.
Yes,
We'll see.
I like it. It's definitely a step in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? It's most definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, it's been you've had a lot of fuzziness. You know what I'm saying? Fuzziness, but now you're starting to sharpen up a little bit, which is great. You know what I mean? Baby steps, progress. We're making moves, baby, and I'm excited about it. But yeah, man. There's been some crazy storms going on in the South recently. So shout out to anybody who happens to be, I don't know, traveling right now. Please be safe. I know there's some people that I know that are in the middle of traveling right now down south. So shout out to my people out there. Please, travel safely. Hopefully you are not flying right now, because apparently there's been just devastation all throughout the South right now with this crazy weather. But hey, climate change, right? It's not real. So anyway, that is a lie. But anyway, we gotta jump into this stuff. I mean, obviously we got a smattering of different things that we're gonna be talking about today, of course. And today, unfortunately, is gonna be a little bit shorter of a show than usual. So we're gonna have to nip things in the bud pretty quickly. But there was something that was very interesting that was going crazy, that was getting shared like crazy over the last 2 days, I guess. It's a very interesting video, and this has to do with Joe Biden, okay? Joe Biden, all right? President Biden was outside. They were asking him about if he was going to be, going down and visiting the border, and he answers basically saying, not at the moment, right? Well, this kind of looks a little weird. Let's take a look at this video, shall we? I'm going to try to make my window on this video as small as possible, because I want you guys to see this video. This is everybody and their mom is going crazy over this video right now, because they're saying that this is green screen. Okay? The reason why I'm all the way small is because you need to look at his hands. Let me just say that again. Look at his hands. All right. Hands.
Not at the moment.
Have you decided when you're able to share thoughts with other countries? Is it allies or neighbors first? Who will be the first country to get U.S. vaccines?
I've been talking with several countries already. Well, I'll let you know that very shortly.
Okay. Obviously, he just walks off. He goes off into the, and he gone. Okay. Now I'm gonna get out of this shot so that you could see this just super clean, and I'm gonna get David out of the shot too. Okay. So I want you guys to see this part one more again.
Not at the moment.
You see that? This right here. Right there. Everyone's losing their damn minds about this moment right here. Basically saying that it doesn't make sense that boom mic, right? That boom mic would, like, his hand would clear that boom mic. That he didn't hit it or anything. Seems a little odd, right? I'm going to get out of this shot again one more time. But as you see, boom.
You can see his hand go over the brown one right beforehand as well, for just a brief second.
Ah, there you go too. Well, I could see that because you hear it hit it. It almost sounds like they hit his hand right there. That right? See that boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. So it seems like that microphone may have really been. I mean, here it is. It's not green screen, y'all. It's just a weird optical illusion. I'm just going to say that. I don't think it's green screen at all. But there's a lot of people out here that actually believe that this is green screen. Like, there's a lot of people out here that believe that Trump's address right after the 6th of January was a deep fake. So there's going to be conspiracy theorists that are going to be running with this one like a mug, okay? But look, right there, that's where everybody's tripping about. Let me kill this noise here. Well, actually, we need to hear it anyway. Let's go back. So he walks over. See that? You hear that? Because the mic hits his hand. That the black mic hits his hand, right?
Not at the moment.
Now that is weird. That is really, really weird. But that guy could have gone beyond, like the microphone could have been beyond his hand, but he's sitting there doing this. You know what I mean? But it looks like it's green screen, but it's not. It just is one big old optical illusion. That's all it is, y'all. That's all bloody is. Go ahead.
Seems like they have a really narrow field of view there. Like they're only about 50 degrees opening on the camera, and everything else is in deep focus mostly, which makes the cameras look weird. But like you said, I think it is just the perspective and the strange choice of the angle mixed with the deep focus not picking up these mics for some reason. Yeah. And it could be tricky. I don't know if you've seen how they made the Lord of the Rings movies, but you can just the slightly shifting or making of, slightly just shifting directions on things makes them look like they're in the place that they're not and stuff.
Right.
So I kind of think it's like that. It's just it's a camera trick, but it wasn't intentional. Yeah. I think that silver mic or the farthest left one is probably further away than it looks. It's probably much more to the left than it appears, but that's just my guess based on the angle and focus.
That's literally what I think too, because it's not like they're going to literally put the microphone right under his hand if he's talking. They're going to move it out of the way and try to angle. Sorry, they're going to move it out of the way and try to angle the boom so that they can get his sound. Because the sound in the boom mic is right here at the tip of the mic. That's where they get all the sound. It's a directional mic, right? So they're going to take it and they're going to angle it at him. And that's exactly what they did. They just got around him. They were trying to get the best spot, and they just found the best spot. And then, of course, he's talking with his hand. You know what I'm saying? He's just talking with his hand, and that's it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
I can definitely see
I feel like it's a stretch. Go ahead.
No, it's a stretch. I agree. There's really no reason that this would even be fake. They could just question him somewhere normal, when he was ready. So I don't think it's fake. There's no reason for it to be fake. But I totally see why people think it looks like green screen.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it looks weird. It just doesn't. The camera work was bad, I guess. I don't know if that's the problem. What makes it look like that, but just might just be happenstance. Even might not be a bad cameraman. Could just pick the wrong angle, and made everything look wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's funny because as much as anybody wants to, they're gonna sit here and go, "Ooh," you know what I mean? It's green screen. It's fake. Nah, man. Y'all reaching. Y'all reaching, like I always say. Y'all be reaching, okay? For those who think it's green screen, y'all reaching. That is not green screen. I just really don't think that they have the time nor the budget to do all that crap. You know what I'm saying? There's no time nor budget to do any of that crap.
Plus his edges were all smooth and everything. It didn't look like a quick job if it was green screen. They would have spent a long time cleaning it up to make him look smooth with the background images. So, I mean, there's not even a reason to fake this one. So I don't see a reason to investigate it being fake because they could have just talked to him in his office or something if he wasn't able to walk around or whatever, and no one would have questioned that. So I just don't see a reason why it would be fake, even though I can see why people think it looks like it's CGI. I kind of thought that at first until I watched it a few times myself.
Yeah. You watch it a couple times and you're like, oh, okay. Then after a while, you're like, nah, it's an optical illusion. That's all. I mean, there's plenty of things that get shot and get found in captured on film that look like it's the real thing, but it ends up being an optical illusion and stuff like that. It's just an optical. I mean, it's funny. Like I said, it's a reach. It's a nice try. I want to see something that really is an an optical illusion. But there is, like, for example, there are people that think, like 9/11, some people think that it was all hologram, that those planes were holograms. I mean, it's insane. Like I said,
Yeah.
anything you can find as an excuse, you're going to use it. You see what I'm saying? Whatever for your own minds. You know what I mean? Whatever you're going to need to make you feel better and go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Great. You know what I mean? But anyway, everyone's on the deep dive trying to find moments where he's going to, mess up royally, right? And I'm like, why not focus on his policies and what he's doing rather than if a boom pole, like a boom mic, is green screened or not? I just think there's better things to do, like to focus on. Like this stuff that's going on with Russia. Why don't we talk about that really quick, which is very interesting. Joe Biden has called Putin a killer. And guess what Putin says back in return? What did he say, David? Speak on it, man. This is very interesting. What did he say?
All right. So, actually, I'm going to start a little bit earlier here.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
All right. So basically, he was calling him a killer during an interview with the news. And the question was, do you consider him a killer? And he said, I do. So that's where this is coming from. So you won't literally find a quote of him saying Vladimir Putin's a killer, but it's in the interview. They asked him whether he thought of Putin, and he said, yes, I do think he is, when they asked if he was a killer. And it was an interview on ABC on Wednesday, and since then, I guess Putin and the Kremlin have seen it. And Kremlin spokesperson told reporters on Thursday that there hasn't been anything like this in history. And he goes on to say that Biden definitely does not want to improve relations with Russia, and that the relationship between the two countries is very bad. And he goes on to say it is absolutely clear how, but refused to elaborate. And then Pascal continues to say that these are bad statements by the President of the United States. He definitely does not want to improve relations with the U.S., and we will continue to proceed from this. And in response, on Wednesday, Russia pulled its ambassador out to the U.S. and brought them back to Russia. And Pascal said that he does not know if Putin himself will react directly. But the ambassador, whose name was Anatoly Antonov, was invited back to Moscow and is currently still there, I believe. And there's no plans with Putin to actually meet with the ambassador, so far anyway. But they go on to say that basically this is President Biden trying to increase conflict, and that they will respond more or less in kind. And we kind of saw this discussion earlier during one of the debates between Trump and Biden, where they both said that something about being ready to go to war with China, and China said they would come anytime, regardless of the president, when they're ready, type stuff. So this was already brewing when he was during the debates, and I think the catalyst for this was ultimately that. The U.S. intelligence community said on Tuesday that the Russian government did meddle in the 2020 elections, and they called it a influence campaign denigrating President Joe Biden and supporting Trump. And they pretty much say that there was a massive disinformation push and local people trying to convince others to vote for Biden. But for some reason, they say there's definitely no changing of ballots or fake ballots tried to put in. But I would think that's unlikely that Russia wouldn't try to completely fake it if they're already going that far. That's just me, though. So anyway, as far as what will happen with Putin, it's not too clear. Biden said that Putin will pay a price for what he's done, and that obviously made Putin mad, even more mad. But it's hard to say where this will go right now because Putin himself hasn't responded too thoroughly yet. It's possible he won't. But the Kremlin has considered it a thing of disrespect, and they said that no one else and no other leader would get away with saying such a thing to another leader of a state, and that there will be retribution. They just don't specify this. And a little behind the scenes is that as soon as Biden did get in around January, the Navy finished the supercarrier, the biggest carrier in the world, which was he immediately deployed to South China Sea along with Australian forces that are down there as well as Indian forces. So it's not too surprising because, Russia is still tangentially related or allied with China. It's definitely friendly with us. So I think this is part of where the antagonism is coming from with Russia, because some people want Russia to be on our side right now because that's better than having two big enemies. But at the same time, he admitted to having a reporter poisoned and murdered. So it's not really someone you necessarily want to work with. And I don't think that this will de-escalate quickly because Russia's probably concerned about all of our fleets in the South China Sea, which could theoretically push through North Korea with no problem, and would at any moment be able to deploy to China. So that's probably part of Russia's concern as well. They're not as close to China as they used to be, but when it comes to international politics, they will still side with China over the U.S. anytime. This is kind of why a lot of people within the military and intelligence were hoping that COVID would keep Russia down a little longer than it has so that China can be dealt with in the meantime as they continue to expand across the South China Sea as well. So they are tied to China in this case. It's not too surprising that relationships continue to sour. I would, especially now that Trump's gone, and Putin did at least favor Trump, that's for sure. He said it before as much. And so I'm not even sure that if Trump stayed in, that Putin would still be friendly with us, because at some point it's going to turn around once they're no longer hit so hard by COVID and they're not so concerned about war on their own borders, like you kind of saw with Azerbaijan and Armenia.
Yeah, but didn't he say something along the lines of like good luck?
Yeah.
Also, he said something else as well. Like Putin basically said to Biden, like, I don't know, something along the lines of like good luck with your health or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
didn't he say something like that?
Yeah, it was. That was his only response really so far. Was I hope you stay in good health is what it was. Yeah, that's the only thing he said in response. But then his government said all this stuff for him afterward. So it's kind of, it kind of adds that sinister element where he says good luck, but then he pulls out the ambassador and he says that there could be retribution of a different sort.
Right.
And Russia has said that they're open to military engagements with the U.S., so they don't want to start it. It's kind of the same as China, except China's more actively trying to start it, I would say. But this is kind of a problem we've had with Russia for a long time. Basically, we've built huge defenses along their border, so they're going to continue to work against the West no matter what, ultimately, when it comes down to it, because along with Turkey and a lot of the states like Poland, they're a much bigger threat to Russia than anything in Asia.
Yeah. Russia doesn't have their boy in office. Let's just be really honest. They don't have their boy in office, so, of course, Biden's going to feel some type of way about some things. He knows some things that we don't, or he knows some things that we consider conspiracy theories, but they are actual facts. You know what I'm saying? That obviously Biden knows as facts, but the world likes to paint it as conspiracy theories. And I'm not talking about no green screen crap. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the real deal, like what their relationships are like. Really like going on, and Trump's relationship with Putin, his relationship with Russia, etc. There's more to this than meets the eye, and the fact that Biden is sitting here saying, "Nah, forget you, man. Like you're a bad human being," says a lot. That he's willing to sit there and go, basically cut ties with Russia, the relationships that they have with Russia. That clean cut like that. And then the response that Putin had, and Putin's kind of known for doing some crazy, shiesty things, or at least Russia is known for doing some shiesty things. So, this is, to me, it's not a big surprise that this exchange is actually happening. All I care about is that I hope that we keep peace, regardless. Like, I'm cool with a verbal, to and fro, you know what I'm saying? A verbal spat, if you will. But as long as it doesn't sprout or grow into something much worse. You see what I'm saying? We don't need the 80s back. You know what I mean? The Red Scare and all of that. We don't need that again. You feel me? So, I mean, we could go for a Rocky 4. We could go for another Rocky 4. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with that. But but other than that, if they can just keep it at this, great. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that. By the way, David, everyone's really liking the new setup on you, by the way. I'm reading all the comments and people are just like, yes, we can actually see his face. It's looking good. All that stuff. I'm very excited for you, bro. I'm very, very excited for you.
Thanks. Yeah, I do plan to get some strip lights in the back, so it won't be quite as orange. But yeah. So I'll end up keeping it this way if it looks better.
Yeah. No. Keep it this way. It looks better. Yes. It definitely looks better, for sure. Let's jump over to the next story. We got another thing. Before we go into the QAnon Shaman, we got another conversation because I just saw James Joseph. What's up, my brother? He was one of the first people on this channel, one of the first people to chat during the live feed. So it's great to see you back in the chat again, my brother. By the way, speaking of which, speaking of the channel, if you guys haven't done it yet, please, I had to go solo, go into the solo shop, but I got to now. If you don't mind, we have a new added piece onto our show, onto the channel. It's the join button. If you could be ever so kind and go down there, click the join button. It's $4.99. Whole bunch of perks are added into the membership, and the $4.99 helps us keep fueling this engine, which is this show, creating more content, getting the content out to you guys in a timely fashion. It helps me grow this show into what I hope to see it turn into a much larger machine in the very, very near future. So if you can, I understand $4.99 is a lot for a lot of us. But if you do have the extra cash just laying around and want to help out a show, please, by all means, click that join button. It's only $4.99. Starting next Wednesday, I will be doing a members-only evening show where I get to talk with all the members. You guys get to Skype in. We get to have full-on conversations face-to-face about all the things that are going on, and that it's just tailored specifically for members. So please, click that join button. Join the fam. That would really mean a lot. But anyway, we got to go into this other piece. The reason why I mentioned James Joseph is because he said, man, I miss Trump because things are boring now. And the funny thing is that I just found that the ratings, cable news ratings, have dropped significantly since Trump left office. They've been calling it the Trump slump. So like CNN, Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, MSNBC, all those major cable networks, all those cable news shows, channels, have now dropped considerably in ratings. Why? I'm just going to say this. Maybe because there's less turmoil and a little bit more peace on earth since he's left office. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that Biden's the be-all and end-all. Hell to the no. He is not. But there is a little bit more calm going on nowadays. I also think that once he got sworn in, I'm talking about Trump, when he got sworn in, I feel like everybody and their mama was glued to their phones, their TV, everything, concerned about if he was going to hit that nuclear red button every single day. And I think that's why we were watching so much. The reason why we were checking things out and glued to our TVs and our social medias like crazy. Lucky for mainstream media, they were able to eat this up. They were able to eat this up, gobble it all up, and keep talking about how crazy President Trump is, or was, I'm sorry. Now we have somebody who's on, and don't get me wrong, we're going to go back. You know what I'm saying? We're going to circle back to another crazy or another controversial leader, I'm sure. And Biden, I'm sure, will be making controversial choices or decisions. I'm sure. But right now, it's kind of like, okay, we just went through the most intense emotional aerobic workout ever, right? And now it's kind of like the calm, like the rest period, you know? And this rest period could be like this for 4 years, or it could be for the next 6 months when they impeach Biden and Kamala gets sworn in as the first female president. I'm just saying, this is what everybody's assuming, so I might as well throw it in there. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that right now everybody's tripping, or, you know, mainstream media is tripping right now. But I feel, and they're all trying to figure out what to talk about. Trust me, they're all tripping. They're like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? So all they're talking about is vaccine, 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 COVID, vaccine. And don't get me wrong, we all need to know this information, but even myself, I'm tired of talking about it. That's why we don't talk about it that much on the show, because I'm tired of it. Tired of talking about it. I'm tired of it. So, but you see, sorry, man, real quick. You see CNN, you put on CNN, they're like, once again, this, you know, AstraZeneca is being rolled out in Germany. And you know what I'm saying? Or they're talking about the new strands that keep popping up, Italy shutting down, etc., which is true. Even when I'm not talking about it, I'm talking about it. You feel me, y'all? So I'm still giving you the information. But you see what I'm saying? They're looking for things to talk about too, man. Because it's not like that. Right now, it's just the Chauvin case trial right now, and that's they're just kind of waiting for a verdict. There's all these other things that are going on, but they're all kind of like the aftermath. We're dealing with the aftermath of what happened in 2020 now. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, news ratings are dropping and they're calling it the Trump slump. But I think it's the calm after this emotional gymnastics that we've gone through for the past 4 years. David.
I think I disagree with a lot of that, actually. I feel like Biden is he's like the serpent in a nice suit, right? He just came in, he made some things look nicer, but he didn't really change a whole lot, right? So we still have children. We have more children than ever detained in the South, and that's just increasing as we go. He's been okay with the environment, but other than that, you know, he's bombing civilian highways in Syria. Yeah, he was targeting bad guys, but, you know, all those people there are going to starve and now work with the people that aren't bombing them. And on top of that, like, he's not even necessarily doing his duties, which is almost the same as when Trump came in, right? He hasn't been appointing his cabinet or judges very quickly. He's been incredibly slow about that. He hasn't even made his own calls to foreign national leaders. Kamala Harris has made most of those. And on top of that, even Nancy Pelosi in the House is trying to strip him of powers to control nuclear weapons and to unilaterally decide any strikes like he did in Syria, because so many Democrats were actually mad about that, since there was apparently no legal justification, and he was called out to bring legal justification, but he never really did, because there probably isn't any. It's just one of those situations where, you know, it's a highway that terrorists do use as well, but it's also because that's just the highway that everyone uses. So all those people there, and it does look like that's exactly what's happening, are starting to get a larger anti-American sentiment in that area. So I think he's been messing up a lot of this, really. He hasn't really changed a lot of the problems we've had other than the environment. He's kind of continued them. I mean, we're still having the same issues with China, which wasn't going to go away because of Biden. And now we're adding Russia on top of this. So, like I said, Putin did kill a news reporter, and people shouldn't be working with him. But at the same time, you have to consider the international fact that Russia could have been staying out of any conflict with China. And now that's no longer possibly the case.
Right.
So, and as we've seen, you know, unfortunately, and I don't think it will, we're not going to see a reduction of racist crimes. If anything, we've seen an increased spurt since Biden got in. It's not his fault, but that's still the issue we have, and there hasn't been a great federal response to it yet. So to me, it just seems he's kept most of the terrible things that Trump did. To me, killing civilians, destroying their ability to get food, and arresting children is really bad, and that's some of the worst things you can do. He hasn't even provided as many pardons for people in prison. Even with Trump, who was pretty terrible in most categories, he released a lot of people that were in there for just weed crimes when he first got in. And there's a few releases from Biden, but we haven't even seen the mass reduction of poor people that were arrested for weed crimes or anything. So I feel like he's just kind of sitting back and letting things go on as they were, and he's just letting the news talk nicely about him while he doesn't speak too much and mess anything up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and here it is, though. I agree with you 110%. I just think that, like I was saying, right now, because we're so used to bombastic, huge moves, a brass, very outspoken, volatile human being as a president, that this is a complete left turn. He may be, I call him a used car salesman. Literally. That's what I call him. I call him the fake motivational speaker. That's what I call Biden. No offense to anybody who's a Biden fan, but he does have that vibe of help is on the way kind of thing. Just hold on for one more second. I got you. We're gonna take care of this. And it's like, okay, if you're gonna take care of this, then take care of it. But yes, I do feel like he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I do agree that he is a serpent in a suit. I feel like he is someone who's going, look, I'm doing all these great things. See, you had somebody else before who was extremely volatile, and was big in every move that he did. But I'm going to be nice, quiet, and my moves are going to be very, very stealth-like, very politician-y, basically, Also, you got to remember, there's no scandals of sex. There's no scandals of all this other stuff. You know what I mean? He doesn't have such a crazy story except for, the stuff that he's done. Now, there's a lot of people that sit here and there that, as far as the arresting the black community, the charges for the crack possessions, et cetera, and we could talk about that all day long till we're blue in the face. But also, there's people that have speculated that Harris and Biden, or Biden and Harris, however you want to say it, are planning on doing some crazy stuff that's going to wreck the people of color, the minorities, the black community, let's just say, with new policies and new bills that are going to be passed, or that they're going to try to pass in the House. But we don't know yet because nothing's happened yet. All we've seen is him sitting there going, we got to take care of these borders. I don't know why I sound like Bush Jr., but you know what I'm saying. We got to take care of these borders. We're going to stop doing this. We're going to take care of these all these immigrants that are trying to find refuge in America. We're going to stop putting them in places that look like detention centers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And nothing's changed. He's like, I'm going to take care of the immigrant problem. And what does he do? He flies hundreds of thousands. Or thousands, hundreds to thousands, of Haitians back to IET.
I forgot about that.
Why? Why? But why though? You see what I'm saying? And it's funny because I was watching this morning on the way, on the way to the show. The 10 feet that it takes me to get from here to the set. But while I'm drinking my coffee, because I do drink coffee kind of slow. I'm listening. Hey, man, coffee's good. And I drink some really good coffee, by the way. But anyway, I'm going to have to talk about coffee some other day. But anyway, they're talking about how there are, more and more people trying to find refuge. More and more people trying to break through this border. Now, the thing is that we talked about this yesterday. They said exactly what I said yesterday, except not with as much flair as me. You know what I'm saying? But they did say that most immigrants, most people that are trying to migrate into America illegally are knowing that it is Biden and Biden's law, I guess, his rule, they believe might be a little bit more, what's the word? Less severe as Trump. That's what they believe. Hence the reason why all these people are trying to migrate into America even more now. The push is even worse because they're going, oh, Biden's the way. Biden's the great white hope now. He's going to let us in. And that's exactly what's happening right now. But the thing is that he says he's going to do something about the border. And what is he doing? Not a damn thing. He's literally just pushing everybody into other buildings that look exactly the same buildings that they put them in the first place, and still giving them the same living conditions as before, instead of actually giving them better living conditions and trying to figure out what they need to do. Sure, you're joining, reconnecting, reuniting families back together. Sure, but you're not doing it all.
I mean, now too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, first he did while he was running for the campaign. He said he would be more open to immigration.
Yeah.
But that's not really the case yet. And I didn't expect it to be because, COVID's a thing. So even though he was suggesting some of that, I never expected it to be the case. But so initially he made some of those ideas that it would happen during his presidency. However, as soon as he got in, he pretty much said, please do not come to our country. Stay where you are. Stay in your neighborhoods and things like that. Because he says we can't handle them. And, we have COVID as an issue. So they kind of probably started marching because of his initial statements that they'd be more open. But since then, he's been saying, please don't come here. We can't deal with you right now.
Right.
And
as Panda just said, Biden said to migrant caravans, please stop coming here, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, facts. He's like, can you just not? Just not. Sorry, continue, man. That's just funny.
So I don't know if his newest message has gotten out or not. I don't even know if they heard his first message, to be real. Though something's triggered the increase in migration during bad weather, and there wasn't an increase in violence. So I think I was going to say Pascal.
Pascal,
but,
the hell?
President Pascal decided that they shouldn't come in, I guess.
Right.
But so he's got his border patrol trying to keep people from coming in. There's just not enough though with how many people are coming in right now, and even places where there is a wall, walls aren't really that effective at keeping people out unless there's someone there protecting the wall, because you can just go over or under it or go along the side where it ends and sail over. So that you can't really stop migration on borders large as Mexico unless you just invest billions upon billions, and you wouldn't get any return whatsoever on that. It's just not a thing that's practical in terms of money to actually stop these current migrations. They have called in FEMA to bring aid to the people, and they are pretty much FEMA is setting them up to be deported as well, but that's not what FEMA is doing directly. They're just there to keep people from dying in the deserts, because that's where people are entering, since that's where guards usually aren't, is the deadliest places where you can't really plan to walk through unless you bring tons of water, bring food, and you see a lot of people die on these trips, hundreds. I don't know about the current migration, but they were already talking about dozens dying in it just a few month or so ago. So it's a deadly trek. It's like the Oregon Trail, basically, because you got to keep in mind they're not traveling by car. They're not traveling with clean water everywhere. They're worried about dysentery. They're worried about people mugging them. It's not a safe trip.
It is not.
It gets even harder once you get to the U.S. in a lot of places.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, no matter what, even if they build a wall, or even if they have built a wall, or they continue to build a wall, there will still be people trying to immigrate into the country. No matter what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in office either. It doesn't matter if that person is the most the most tyrannical, terrible human being on this planet. Still not going to change anything. People are still going to, if this is still the land of opportunity, people are still going to try to migrate into this country, period. They're going to do everything they can because they're trying to find a better life and a better opportunity for their children, period. So my thing my problem is that, and I also said this too, and I'm still playing this card, that Biden just got into office. There's a lot that he's working on trying to fix. That in his mind, in his administration, what he feels needs to be fixed. This is one of the things that he's working on, that he says that he's working on. I'm hoping that he's doing everything he can to make those things happen. But I understand there's a whole lot of red tape and a whole lot of BS that he has to go through to make certain things happen. And hopefully he's doing what he needs to do to make those things happen. So for me, I'm going to sit back, drink my coffee, and keep watching and see what he actually does. But he bet not be another Clinton. He bet not be another Obama with this particular situation. Hey, I was a fan of Obama, but he done messed up a lot of things when it came to immigrants coming into this country too. So let's just be completely straight funky on it. You know what I'm saying?
I would.
Go ahead.
I would like to see Biden work a little more. He's been releasing his own schedule, so he's not hiding this fact, but most of his days have been 4 to 5 hour days. He rarely works past 4 o'clock. And he's always done by 6 p.m. Usually starts around noon. He just has really short days.
Because 4 o'clock is huh? And then he has to go back and do it all over again. So, he takes his snack at 3, and then at 4 he's asleep. You know what I'm saying? After he takes his meds, and he's just sitting there staring off into the window in his wheelchair, drooling all over himself, asleep. And then that's when Kamala comes in and does the rest of the work. Sorry.
That's another bad thing. She's been handling all the foreign relations, and that's his job.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because, he can't do it all himself. And don't get me wrong, he old. And he's not like a young old. He old. He ain't even old. He's so old that the D rusted off. Okay? So he's just old. You feel me? You can't even say old. He that old. He old. Okay? So, but at the same time, he's going in the pace that he can do. So hopefully, Kamala, Biden, Harris, whatever you want to call it, hopefully Harris will pick up the slack on where he's slacking. And maybe she can get straight into this and get this taken care of with the quickness. But like I said, he's only been in office for 2 months. Bruh. Let me check. Hold up. Yeah.
It's been about that.
Yeah. He was inaugurated in 2 days. It'll be 2 months. So yeah. 58 days? 58 days! Damn!
That's part of why some of the people are mad is because he didn't do the things he said he would do in those 60 days.
True, but at the same time, 58 mother-loving days. And you saw all those bills that he signed right when he walked in that beat. He was like, yo, give me that pen. You know what I'm saying? 30-something odd, bills or whatever that he was pulling out his ass. Okay, fine. Right off the bat, he's like, we're going to implement this. Cool. But I'm like, everyone else is like, but what about the immigrants? He's like, I'm working on it. Okay, work on it. Fix it. And if it means that it takes if it means it takes 6 months to get it fixed so that the rest forever it's fixed, I will wait 6 months as long as it's fixed. But if we see 6 months from now that we're still in the same ish and you're still flying my people back to their crappy situation, we're going to have words. Not like I'm going to have words with Biden. I mean, that'd be dope though. Man, I would not kill. Sorry. That's a strong word. But I would love to sit down with Biden and just be like, why? Just look at him. That's the only question I want to say is why. Just why. That's it. Why? I would kill. Just F it. I would kill to sit down with him and just have that question. That one question. Why? And that's it. And he'll be like, because about, huh? That's it. Anyway, moving on. We got to go into this next story. And real talk, I mean, Biden has a lot of work to do. He does. There's a lot of cleaning up to do, and there's a lot of things that happened even before Obama's era that I feel like there's a lot of fixing that has to be done as well. I mean, let's be real. There's things that are taking time to fix because these are things that have happened for many, many terms before that have been implemented that have not been removed. And I think that hopefully this will be remedied here soon, or I hope within his term. I just got to be honest. I can only imagine what kind of BS he has to go through just to get those things done. Let's get it fixed with the quickness so that we can all have a holly jolly Christmas, man. Real talk. No, seriously, think about it. Those holidays, those kids are wrapped up in those tinfoil covers on concrete floors, surrounded by a chained fence cage type situation, like they're freaking ravenous dogs for the holidays. Real talk. I know that's a little bit of a left turn, but really think about it. That's terrible. Please fix it. Please get it figured out with the quickness. So we got
flowers. He
Shut
sent flowers
up!
to the children's camp, so he at least cares.
Well, that's funny because it's funny because flowers won't keep you warm. You know what I'm saying? It's a different thing when you're like, baby, I'm sorry, and then you give her flowers. You know what I'm saying? These are kids who need food. You can't eat flowers. I mean, I guess you could. You're gonna get sick, but you know what I'm saying? There's better things to do than to receive flowers as a child in a freaking cage that it doesn't even have a pillow to lie on. You're using you're using each other as cushions. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, moving on to the next story. We got to go into this next story. The next story is QAnon Shaman. QAnon Shaman. Yes, he's back in the news again. You know, hey! You know what I mean? He is the Patriots version of Lil Jon. Hey, there you go. He is literally Lil Jon, but the Patriots version of Lil Jon. The QAnon's Lil Jon. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like we should call him the Q doofus because calling him a shaman is disrespectful to people that are actually shamans. He's just an idiot.
Yeah, I think they're just using it now because it's just freaking hilarious that he sits there and says that he's a QAnon shaman, or that he's a shaman or shaman. Is it shaman or shaman?
Shaman.
Shaman, okay. But that he's a shaman. You know what I'm saying? And that's funny because aren't shamans supposed to be bringing peace, love, and happiness? You know what I mean? Peace and love, peace and love. Yeah. Right? And he's out here trying to cause a ruckus up in this mother lover. That makes no sense to me. Right? So, QAnon Shaman is back in the news, y'all. I'm serious. He literally is Lil Jon for the QAnon. That's what they should, because instead of him having like his pimp cup, you know what I mean? The beautiful bedazzled pimp cup with his pimp juice in there. He's got his QAnon flag and he's got all that stuff and he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, think about it. What?
I think he's going for like the classic German barbarian look that destroyed the Roman Empire type thing. That's kind of what it looks like.
I guess so. But
the Roman Republic, actually.
Yeah, but think about it. That's a deep cut. And there's a lot of people that would be like, what? You see what I'm saying? Not everyone's going to know that. You would, David, but not everybody else would. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It's a little bit of a deep cut. Like, I understand him dressing up like Braveheart. I could see that. That would make sense. That's a deep cut, but everyone knows it because it's pop culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They'll take our land, but they'll never take our freedom. You know what I mean? Then that makes sense.
Blue paint. They can get him for cultural appropriation too. So
exactly. They'll be like, "How dare ye?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every Scottish person would be just offended. You know what I mean? I'm offended.
I'm sure he wouldn't get organic food in prison in Scotland. I'm just going on a guess here, but I don't think he would.
No, he would. Hail to the gnaw. You probably just get bread and water. That's it. But anyway, there's a clip from CNN that we got to check out. Real talk. It has to do with this new developing thing about QAnon Shaman. Now, I know that a few weeks ago, there was a video that I was watching and then it got cut off because of copyright infringements and all that kind of stuff. But in that particular video, we were watching the 60 minutes plus interview that surrounded specifically on QAnon Shaman. All right. So they're talking about this particular interview in this CNN clip. Okay. And then apparently there's a new video that has really ticked off the judge that's in the middle of the QAnon Shaman's trial. Let's take a look.
Video has been released in the case against the so-called QAnon Shaman as he faces charges for his role in the Capitol insurrection. CNN's Brian Todd is covering all the angles for us. Brian, tell us more about these videos and why they were made public.
They were made public, Wolf, because the judge is frankly fed up. Tonight, one of the most visible rioters on January 6th seems to have gotten squarely on the bad side of the judge in his case.
We won the day.
Tonight, Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman who wore a headdress and face paint and carried a spear inside the Capitol, has been called out by U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth. The court today releasing two videos, which the judge believes back his assertion in court papers that Chansley, quote, blatantly lied during an interview with 60 Minutes Plus. This is what Judge Lamberth believes was a lie.
Police were waving people into the building.
Judge Lamberth believes this video, showing rioters breaking windows, then panning over to a shot of Chansley walking through a door, shows Chansley was lying when he claimed police waved him in.
And that shows you that this defendant, Jacob Chansley, has really angered this judge and has really compromised his own credibility in the mind of the judge.
And the thing is that how could he sit there and say that he was waved in if he was part of the wave of people that walked in? How would you have been able to see some cop go, come on in, if you're part of the big wave of people? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to me.
Judge Lamberth had already accused Chansley and his attorney of doing that 60 Minutes Plus interview without the court's permission. Chansley's lawyer claimed they were not trying to be deceitful. Chansley has pleaded not guilty to 6 charges, including violent entry and disorderly conduct in the Capitol attack. Judge
Lil John
Lamberth recently ruled that Chansley is too dangerous to release and has to stay in jail pending his trial.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
One analyst says even though Chansley's not accused of violent behavior against others, his high profile as a symbol of the riot puts added pressure on prosecutors.
The prosecutors have to understand that the public is watching every move they make in this case. And so the notoriety of certain defendants is something they have to take into consideration, and they better make darn sure that they have charged these people appropriately and that they come away with convictions, including on Jacob Chansley.
This comes as the Washington Post reports that the U.S. Army, in the days just ahead of January 6th, pushed to deny the D.C. government's request for a National Guard deployment on the 6th. The Post obtained an internal draft Army memo saying the U.S. military shouldn't be required to help law enforcement with traffic and crowd control unless more than 100,000 demonstrators were expected on the National Mall that day.
Certainly not consistent with past practice. During my time as police chief in Washington, D.C., we utilized the National Guard quite frequently to handle crowd control as well as traffic control. They're very well trained. We've used it for far less, so I really don't understand what the rationale was for that.
It's important to note that the Army ultimately rejected the idea in that memo and approved the mission. An Army spokeswoman telling CNN that the Defense Department ended up agreeing to provide 340 members of the D.C. National Guard to help with crowd control and street closures. Pentagon officials have denied accusations that the deployment of additional National Guard troops on January 6th was delayed unnecessarily at their end. Pentagon officials also denying that people in their building balked at that request that day.
Tonight,
you know, it's funny because as much as they want to sit here and say, like, just on that added end part of like, oh, they're trying to deny that there was any type of hesitation or any type of delay. That's a lie. That is a full-on lie. And as you listen to those Senate hearings, you hear it full. Like, I already covered it in many pop-up videos and obviously live on the show and everything. You hear it from the horses' mouths. Okay, There are plenty of them that are sitting there going, there was a lot of delay because they were worried about optics and all that. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about QAnon Shaman. And the fact is that he was lying. He was full on lying. That was a bold-faced lie that he said on that 60 Minutes interview. He wasn't waved in. He just followed everybody else in. He could have said, I followed everybody else in. You know, he's just saying whatever he needs to say so that he is safe. Oh, no, the cops waved us in. No, you walked in with everybody else. You could have said that too. You didn't violently push yourself in. You didn't. Technically, he didn't. He was just a part of that group that went in. Where he was wrong was being a part of the group that walked in. But did he do it violently? No, he himself did not. He just walked in and was and doing all that stuff and doing prayers and all that crap. Right? I'll give him that. But he was still part of the chaos. He was still part of the mayhem. For someone who's I guess if you believe it, you can be it, right? Or if you just name yourself it, you can be it. Like, I'm a millionaire. There it is, guys. Since I said it, I must be a millionaire, right? Just like this shaman thing. He's a shaman. Did he just read a book one day and then said, after he read the book cover to cover, he just said, I'm a shaman now? Or how does that work? Do you go to school for it? Do you take classes online? I'm wondering, does Vatterott have this in their curriculum? You know what I mean? Becoming a Shaman 101. I'm just curious. Inquiring minds would like to know. How does one become a shaman? How does one get donned, christened, knighted into becoming a shaman? Or is it just something that you just call yourself? Inquiring minds would like to know. I know that's a little bit of a left turn, but just ride with me, babies. Doesn't make any sense to me. So, if you're willing to lie to yourself that you are a shaman, then you're willing to lie on camera to a journalist, to a highly reputable and respected news source, that cops waved you in. You could easily just sit there and go, oh, yeah. They waved me in. They waved me in. So I went in. It was the cops. The cops told me to come in. And all I did was walk around and chant, and all I wanted to do was be a part of peace. That is a lie, too. You were a part of the chaos, Mr. Shaman, who all he wanted to do was do prayers and sing songs about the days of yore. That doesn't make any sense to me. So he got caught in a lie, y'all. And that's what you get when you get caught in a lie. This will not work for him. Now everything I'm sure that he has said is going to be looked at with a magnifying glass now. He done screwed the pooch on this one, y'all. What do you think, David?
Yeah. he's
man.
Yeah, it would suffice. But
yeah.
I'm just gonna basically repeat some of what you said, but I agree that there's really he's been involved in a lot of these situations from the beginning. He knew he was one of the most visual people related to it. He's been identified before, so his presence alone would have drawn more people, I think, anyway, amongst those who follow him or follow the Q ideas. Yeah, like the Q followers would have probably followed him. I mean, he's not a real shaman to them, I think. I don't know for sure, but he's very popular and well known. So he definitely would have been responsible for bringing people there, and he did walk in there. The video of him walking into, I think it was the Congressional Hall. There's an officer in front of him saying, like, you shouldn't be, like, the officer's just walking with him, but he is saying you shouldn't be in here, you got to leave. He doesn't do anything to stop him, but he obviously knew he wasn't allowed to be in there at that point because the cop told him to leave, even if the cop was not enforcing that law at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's just, I feel like he went in there to get popular. Maybe he wanted to like Instagram popular or something, and he just did not expect it to backfire the way it did. And now he's way outside of his comfort zone dealing with prison and all the other possibilities.
Yeah. And I understand, like, he's going to say anything he can so he can get out of there. But, you know, he's got a roof over his head and he's eating organic food, so he's okay. I think what he needs to do is just do... I think what he needs to do is he needs to just shut the hell up, fess up, acknowledge where he's done wrong, and be done with it. But of course, I understand he wants to get out. He wants to see if he can be let free. But it's not going to happen. They're going to literally throw the book at this guy. Because he was a popular image. He was the embodiment, basically, the full embodiment of what happened on the 6th. So they're going to use that and they're going to run with that as much as they can. And use that guy, like I've said a million times before on other people that have done other stupid things. They're going to use this man as an example to show you cannot do what happened on the 6th ever again. Or the same things are going to happen to you that happened to this guy. When he gets found guilty, which he most likely will, unless they find something, that lawyer better be amazing. So, and then also on top of that, you just pissed off the judge. That's a bad look. Now the judge is calling you a liar. Woo, it's bad. It's really, really bad, y'all. So there you go. There you have it on that one, man. You know, I don't feel bad for him. I don't. I just feel like this is an unfortunate guy who I'm sure was trying to find a better life for himself, trying to find things that would work for him. He got sucked into a website that filled all his head with nothing but lies and conspiracies. And then it all led up to what happened on the 6th. And it just shows to you guys proof positive that we can't always believe what we hear or what we read on the internet. That how easy and how quick people can get into a cult-like following or get into a cult without even them knowing that they're in a cult. And that's what's scary about it, for sure. Absolutely scary about it. But anyway, we got to move into the next subject, unfortunately, because I got to wrap up the show here very shortly. Now, the thing is I just saw Tammy say something about T.I. and Tiny. And then Winter Mute was like, why is T.I. and Tiny in trouble? Well, we will talk about that tonight because that is a very thick story. There's a lot going on, a lot of sex and drugs and hip hop. And, it's terrible. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. And it's not looking good for T.I. and Tiny at all. But I will talk about that tonight because that's such a deep dive and we would have to go all the way into it. So Tammy from the block, thank you so much for the shout out or the reminder on that. I will talk about that tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. What were you going to say, David?
I was going to say, it seems like T.I. keeps getting in trouble lately.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things where he just keeps... You know what I'm saying? Like, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse for him. But yes, Panda, he got arrested on gun charges. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad back in the day too. But you know, that whole thing, speaking of cult-like stuff, that's apparently T.I. and Tiny's relationship has a polyamorous type of lifestyle where they bring other members into the bedroom, okay? Into the Thunderdome, okay? And they got a lot of wrestling partners. Now, apparently these wrestling partners are saying that a lot of these partners were forced to consume various amounts of drugs so that they can be a part of the boom boom room. Okay? So we will talk about that tonight because it's bad. It's gotten really, really bad. And of course, I have to tell you the origin of it all and then show you what's going on now. And then, of course, we'll open that up into discussion as well. But we do have to get into this next story, unfortunately, guys, because today's show has to be a tiny bit shorter. By the way, quick reminder, HBO Max has finally put out Zack Snyder's Justice League. Just wanted to let you guys know. So his cut is finally out for everyone to see. I will be watching it myself here in a little bit. I'm really, really excited about it because say that again.
Do you still want to do the watch party in Discord or?
No, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't do it. It's a 4-hour show, or it's a 4-hour piece. And I'm just going to be like watching bits and pieces of it throughout the day when I get time. Today is unfortunately a very busy one for me. Lots of stuff to take care of before the 7 o'clock show. But yes, let us go into this story. Now, there's a story about a 1-year-old child by the name of. There's a story about a 1-year-old child that was shot in the head by the name of Legend Smalls. And we got to show you guys this quick video. This is just so sad. This is so sad, y'all. Take a look.
In this surveillance video from earlier this month, Houston police say the man running was an armed robbery suspect who then tried to carjack a woman pumping gas. Officers opened fire, killing the suspect, but also hit the woman's 1-year-old baby who was in the back seat in the head. He's seen here held by an undercover officer.
My son has been fighting every day for his life, and he's struggling on his own to breathe by himself.
Daisha Small says her baby Legend is still in a pediatric ICU and that doctors removed part of his skull to relieve the swelling.
My son didn't deserve this, and I don't want to leave my baby's side, at all.
The police union tells NBC News the officer did not know the baby was in the car and took what he thought was a clear shot of the suspect, probably saving the woman's life.
They gave the suspect commands to drop the gun. He refused.
The boy's family is now calling on police body camera video of the incident to be released and is preparing to file a civil lawsuit.
And when you shoot into the car, you put her life at risk.
I gotta say something really quick. Ben Crump is everywhere. I just want to make that abundantly clear. That dude be everywhere. 1 minute he's in New York, the next minute he's in Texas. This man is freaking everywhere.
And he's behind like every settlement that
everything
prevents these from being heard in court, pretty much. I don't know if that's his intention or not, but he's keeping a lot of these limited to settlements instead of letting people hear everything that happened.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's finish this. It's 30 more seconds.
The Houston officer has been with the department for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
He was placed on administrative leave pending an internal investigation.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it. There's the story right there. Now the thing is that this is a tough one. This is a tough scenario. This is a very tough situation. Okay. Now just break it down with me for a second. Okay. You got a guy who ran off, tried to carjack this woman that was pumping gas. He jumped in the car. Cops pulled up. He had a gun on him. They said, put down the gun. He didn't. Shots were fired. Man died, but one of the bullets hit this 1-year-old boy, which is terrible. It is really, really bad. Kiki, I agree. This is bad. It is very, very bad. Now, I'm trying to process this as much as I can because the situation, like when because we don't know the full scope of the story, right? We don't know if this guy was shooting at the cops and they fired back. You also got to remember, you don't know, like, this guy's running to a car, adrenaline is high, stakes are high. You got a woman off by the I'm assuming by the gas pump that was in the middle of pumping gas. He has a gun. He has a gun. Hold on, let me just finish this out. He has a gun. She's pumping gas off onto the side. Adrenaline is pumping. Tensions are high, right? You don't know what's going on because you can't see what's going on behind him, right? I'm assuming. I don't know if they circled around him. I don't know what they did, if they covered the perimeter, all that. But you don't know what's going on behind or in the back seat of that car. Like Stacy just said, a split second to react. Sad. See, and I think that too. It's like you had a split second to react. And I'm sure they were not close enough because I saw somebody else say, hey, what about, and yes, future inmate Donald Trump, yes, he was shot and he died, the suspect. But you're not close enough, especially if they pull out a gun and they have the gun out. There's no way you're going to be close enough to the guy to be able to shoot him with a taser. All right? Because obviously this guy's running off, right? I think it's just such a terrible series of events. And I don't know if it should, I mean, obviously, Juanita, yes, it is hard to call. I don't want to sit here and automatically say, oh, this is all the cops' fault.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm trying to process it. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
It's not a clear one. I would want to see the video, but even then, like, you're supposed to, if you're initiating shooting, you're supposed to always be aware of what's behind your target and everything. But at the same time, like, this kid in the car, probably couldn't see him. If someone pulled a gun on him first, I mean, that will get you shot. Most of the time, it will get you shot. So I don't know. It's not a clear one. I think that I would want to see the video, but I could also easily see how this was an accident instead of just pure negligence.
Right, and for me, it all comes down to I want to see the body cam footage. I want to see what's going on, but I know. I mean, in my heart of hearts, I would think that the cops are not trying to shoot and hurt a 1-year-old child. But it makes you wonder if they saw the child in eyesight, And I do truly believe that the cops would have approached the situation differently if they had known that there was a 1-year-old child in the back seat. I don't think any person is out here trying to hurt or kill a 1-year-old child. So like that's what I'm trying to say. Like tensions are high. It's just a bad situation that happened. I feel like it was an honest mistake. I'm like, you know how it is, guys. You know that this show tries to see the facts and all that stuff. We don't have the body cam footage. We don't have all the facts. But from just gut reaction, I got to be fair because, obviously there's other channels that will just sit there and go, F the Popo. The Popo did it. It's all they fault. Nah. Yes, they made a mistake for sure, but I don't think it was intentional. David.
Right. I agree. I think his best choice would have been to let the guy run. That's normally what you should do. Wait a second. If you think it might end up hurting more people, you're supposed to kind of let them go and get caught.
So you're going to let that guy get in the car, and just so if there's a baby in the back of the car, you're going to let that man drive off with the 1-year-old baby.
Possibly. I mean, it's not an easy situation. He's also shooting near gas tanks, which that creates a possibility of an explosion even. It's like I said, if the guy pointed a gun at him, he's got to do what he's got to do at that point because no one wants to die. But so, like I said, I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, it's not a clear one. Like to me, if the guy was just running away and wasn't armed, I could see that. But most likely, the cop didn't even know there was a baby in the car because it sounds like this guy like the guy was not in the car at first, right? He was just running towards the car.
He ran towards the car, basically trying to carjack the car, like, because he was on foot. He was a suspect on foot, and the cops were chasing him down. Then he ran over to a gas station. The car door was open, I guess, and he tried to carjack the car while she was pumping gas.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the best decision, but I totally understand why he did that. And I don't think he had a bad intention in doing so, probably.
Yeah, I mean...
But I don't know for sure, of course.
I just feel like if they didn't see what was going on, anything's possible. You see what I'm saying? If they didn't see what was going on, anything's possible. It's just like we are talking about. It is just a really bad situation. Period. It's just a terrible situation that didn't need to happen. And I feel like when tensions are high and there's a baby, say strapped into a baby chair, car seat, and they're tucked behind somewhere behind the driver's seat or behind the passenger seat, it's hard to see that, especially at night. You don't see what's going on. It could be you think it may be a pile of clothes. It could be anything, right?
And he's also got the focused vision from his adrenaline being up, since he's engaged in this. So you do miss more details even then, just when your adrenaline's up.
Right.
And I agree with you that I mean, it's very easy to hide.
Right.
I don't know about hide, but baby seats, just because of their shape, tend to be naturally hidden by the seat in front of them. So I can definitely see how he did not know that was there.
Right. But anyway, I mean, it's a very interesting story. It's a very interesting it's a tragic story, and I hope that Legend Smalls pulls through. Real talk. I'd hate to see this turn into something much worse. The man that was trying to carjack is no longer on this planet. He died during the shooting as well. But I hope that the police department uses this as an opportunity to learn something from this as well, to maybe learn a different way of approaching situations. But at the same time, it's just such a huge, high-risk situation where you have to make a split-second decision. And when you have a guy with a gun pointing his gun at you, and then you have a lady who is the owner of that car off to the side, and she's in harm's way as well. I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah, sometimes you have to make drastic decisions, which is really, really terrible. But anyway, guys, that's the show today. I really appreciate everybody for being on, tuning in, and being a part of the show. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a Speak On It segment today on this morning's show, but tonight I will be doing a whole big conversation about, like I said, T.I. and Tiny and this whole situation. It is crazy. I know a lot of y'all are like, what's going on? And why are we talking about this drama stuff? It ain't drama if it's going straight into court. And these allegations that are happening with T.I. and Tiny is very, very, very interesting. Long story short, I want to say a big thank you to Solo Road for joining the membership. I saw another person joined earlier. I already said thank you to them via chat, but I didn't get a chance to say that to Solo Road. Thank you so much for hitting that join button and joining the family over there as well. Like I said before, please go hit that join button if you can. It's $4.99, but it supports the show. It keeps this engine well oiled so that we can keep giving you guys nothing but the hits and telling you your stories of the day. Okay? If you haven't done it yet, please hit that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot. David, thank you so much for being on, my brother.
Yeah, good show today.
Yeah, it's a good show today. Good show today. Good show today.
Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, guys, I want to say again, thank you all for being on. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done that yet. Hit that subscribe button. I do this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I do a Tuesday through Thursday, 7 p.m. show. So be sure to tune in tonight. We will be talking about T.I. and Tiny. You know what I mean? Tip and Tiny. It's going to be quite a conversation because shout out to Tammy for the suggestion. It's a good story to talk about for sure. Okay? Anyway, much love to you guys. I'll see you guys tonight. Hopefully I'll have a full review of my opinion on this whole Zack Snyder Justice League 2. So if you get a chance, go check it out. It's 4 hours though. My God, that's a long ass movie. Anyway, much love to you guys, okay? Be good to yourselves, be good to one another. And I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.